Way to be alert. My girl. Okay, don't be looking at that. Look at what we're doing. Okay, we're going to move on to number 7. A plane left Chicago at 8 a.m. At 1 p.m., the plane landed in Los Angeles, which is 1,500 miles away. What was the average speed of the plane for the trip? So, did you write the D equals RT?
Yes.
What was the distance?
1,500.
1,500. What is it asking you for? The rate, right? And then we got to figure out the time. How are we going to figure out the time?
You just count how many hours.
Yes, these things on the end of your hands. You know what those are called? Fingers. Use them. Make a fist. You go from 8 to 9, that's 1 hour. From 9 to 10, 10 to 11, 11 to 12, 12 to 1. How many hours is that?
5.
5 hours. That's your time. If you do not have this written, please write it down. Now what? Divide both sides by 5. And what does the rate equal?
300 miles per hour.
300 miles per hour.
15 miles per hour.
But it's not, it's 300. Everybody got it written?
Yes, ma'am.
And then I think number 10 we need to look at.
On number 10, I think
Jose rides his motorcycle, excuse me, rides his motorcycle 100 kilometers in 150 minutes. What is his average speed in kilometers per hour? You can write D equals RT. How far does he go? 100 kilometers, right? It's asking you for the rate, but it's asking for, is this 150?
No.
No, because it's not 150 hours, is it?
No, ma'am.
What is it?
2 hours. 2.5.
2.5. It's 2.5 hours, isn't it?
Yes.
Does everybody see that Kyle turned 150 minutes into hours? Everybody understands that?
Yes, ma'am.
And then we divide both sides by what?
2.5.
2.5. So if you do the house, which one lives in it?
The top one.
Yep. Do we have to move a decimal? Yep. Do it on the outside, you do it on the inside. What'd you get? 40. Good.
I realized that I multiplied instead of divided.
That's fine. Okay, so there's another way to do it when it gives it to you in minutes and not hours, and I want to show it to you. You can do words with a proportion. So 100 kilometers in how many minutes? And if you're doing per hour, how many minutes is that? No. How many minutes is 1 hour?
60.
So you would put a 60 right there. You see what I did? Instead of putting a 1 for the hour, I put 60 for the minutes, which represents 1 hour. So if I cross multiply, 150x equals 6,000.
I did that.
So then I got 600 divided by 15. And I believe you still get 40. You with me?
Yes, ma'am. I'm gonna take.
Everybody cool there?
Yes, ma'am. Easy.
Okay. Who wants to hand out the next one?
Me. Under this.
No, it's on this thing right here. Go ahead, Maddie. You can put that in your binder and keep it. Can you refer back to that?
Yeah.
Yes. We're going to move on to unit rate. I'm going to load it in Google Classroom while he's handing that out. So you can have an electronic 1, 2. And I think I just told you this is pretty much the exact same thing that we've been doing. All right. So I'm not gonna go read through all this. We're gonna kind of zip through this since I believe you already know how to do this most of all, but I do want to make sure you have the terminology correct. For example, rate. It's a special kind of ratio that compares two quantities. Basically, that means write a proportion. And then unit rate is a ratio that compares quantity to one. The word per is a key word. What does per mean? One. Per means one. Okay? So instead of going through all this, I don't think you need it. We're going to go all the way to more unit rates and ratios. This is the exact same thing, yes?
Did this go with this? Who's at the back?
I don't know. I can't see that probably. Looks like it.
I can see it.
So we're going to go all the way to more unit rates and ratios. Obviously, number one is exactly what we did yesterday. Diana traveled 385 miles in 7 hours. What is her average speed in miles per hour? So do you want to write the formula or do you want to do it as a proportion?
Formula.
What is the distance? And what is it asking you for? The rate. What is the time?
7 hours.
So we simply do what? By
7.
make sure you're writing.
So now I figure it out.
What'd you get? 55. Good. Okay, number 2. Charlie bought a half a pound bag of oranges for $3.75. What is the cost of 1 pound of oranges? Let's not make this hard, okay? Let's not make this too hard. Dalen, close your computer. But we're going to write a proportion. I'm going to show you what that looks like. When you write these proportions and when you figure unit rate, you always need to put the words first. Always label it. So what do you think our words are? Pounds and money. Pounds over monies. And you're going to write the proportion. And what do you know?
That she bought a
Half a pound is how much money?
$3.
And what is it asking you about? 1 pound. Where does the 1 go? So instead of making this hard, do you think you can probably figure that out?
Yes.
Because 1/2 to 1, what do you do? How'd you get there? Tell me about 1/2 compared to 1.
You multiply it by 2.
Yeah, it's twice it, right? You multiply it by 2. This is a proportion, so if I do it on the top, I do it on the bottom. So all you do is 375 times 2. You could do it the hard way and cross multiply and all that kind of stuff, but it's not necessary when it's even like that. What'd you get? 7. Good. Good. $7.50 for a whole pound. Perfect. Number 3. This one looks a little scary, but it's not. So just bear with me. Mrs. Sweets provided cookies for a class of 24 students. She purchased 72 cookies to make sure that each student receives the same number of cookies. Complete the table below to determine the number of cookies per student. So how many people does she have?
24 students.
24 students. How many cookies?
72.
So if you wrote a proportion, you would do cookies over students. And 72 cookies for how many students? 24. And it wants to know each student, which means per student, which means where does a 1 go? There you go. And you can either cross multiply 24x equals 72. And then what do? Divide by 24. Does anyone know what 72 divided by 24 is? Three. So that means for 1, it's 3. So I'm going to write a 3 right here. So do you see that we are multiplying times 3? So what goes here?
6.
And here? No.
12.
And here? You are multiplying times 3. Does everybody see that? Good. Number 4. It gets a little bit more complicated, but not too much that you can't do it. Everybody on number 4? Manuel works 5 days a week and 6 hours each day. That week he earned $337.50. What was his hourly rate of pay? I'm going to write a proportion. Do you not have it, Thomas? You do? Okay. What is it asking you for? Hour and pay. So hours and money, right? So that's going to be my words. Hours over monies. Then we got to figure out what goes in here. First of all, how much money did he earn? Good. How many hours did that take him? Read the question.
6 hours.
30.
Who said 30? How'd you get that? That's right. He works 5 days a week, 6 hours each day. 5 days a week, 6 hours each day. You have to multiply it. He worked 30 hours that week. And it wants to know hourly rate of pay. So where does a 1 go? There you go. How do we solve this? You get 30x equals 337.5. Then what? Divide by 30. Note you cannot mark off a 0 on this one because it is behind the decimal. That does not make them uneven. So when I build the house, who lives in it? First thing you do is put the decimal up. Don't make it hard. 30 into 33. 30 into 37. 30 into 75. 2. I gotta add a 0, right? And 30 into 150. That's 5. So how much does he make per hour? Awesome. Writing the proportions is not too hard, I don't think. What do you guys think so far? Is it hard? No. Number 5, turn the page. What? Not in the middle of teaching. Number 5, use unit rate to determine which of the following is the best deal. Circle your answer. We have done these before. These have been on tests. This is just the time we're doing the lesson. You're going to write a proportion unless you already know what to do. But we're going to pretend we don't. What are our words? Ounces and money. So put ounces over dollars. I'm going to do the very first one. How many ounces do I have? Over how much money?
Over $4.08.
And it wants to know unit rate, that's per ounce. Where does the 1 go?
Top.
So if I cross multiply,
16x equals 4,018.
how do I solve that?
You divide.
Divide by what?
16, both sides.
16 on both sides. First thing you do, decimal. Will 16 go into 4?
No.
Will it go into 40?
Yes.
How many times?
3 times.
2. That's 12. Did you get 32? What do you have left?
8.
Will 16 go into 88? How many times?
7.
We'll try it and see. Is 7 right? Who said 7? Is it 7? No. I think it's 5. And what's going to happen? It's going to add a 0, and 16 into 80 is 5. So the first one is, this is the first one, we'll call this A, is 0.255. Do you have to write the proportion for the other two?
No.
No. What can you do? You can just divide it, right? The money goes in the house. Does that make sense to you?
That's kind of makes a lot of sense.
18 into 45,
So, twice.
2, 36. I think you have 9 left. And 18 into 90,
4.
is 5 going to work? Yep. So that's 0.25. This is for letter B, the second one. Which one's a better deal so far? This one costs more. So it's B, right? So it's not the first one. Now we got to do the next one. And 22 into 53, 2 times, you get 44. That's 9. Bring down the 9. 22 into 99, 4. I think that gives you 88. Which one is the better deal? C, the last one, this one right here. See how I didn't even have to finish that problem. I figured it out. As soon as I got the 4 there, I know that's lower than 5. Everybody still with me? Awesome. Let's look at the next one. How much more expensive per ounce is a 15-ounce bottle of mango juice for $3.45 than a 32-ounce bottle of mango juice for $5.12? How do you do that? This is exactly what we just did on the one before it. You can write a proportion if you want to, or you can do what? Divide the money by the ounces. That's 2. 23. This one goes in 1. What would that be? 4. 2 was 64. 4, 5 maybe. 6. Yep, 6. So how much more expensive is this one than this one? How do you do that?
Subtract.
Subtract. Good. How much more expensive is it?
7.7.
0.07. Everybody good? Look at number 7. A cookie recipe says to use 3 cups of flour and 2 eggs. If you want to increase the recipe to use 9 cups of flour, hang on, stop. Don't move. We're going to do this one. If you want to increase the recipe to 9 cups of flour, what would be the ratio of flour to eggs? So what are your words? Cups and eggs. So write it down. Cups over eggs. Or flour over eggs. And what do you have? 3 over 2. And then this says 9 what? Where does that go? Write it down. Write it down. On the top. There's 3 cups of flour. What do we do? You can cross multiply. Can you cheat on this one? Yeah, you can do 3x equals 18. Or you can say, how'd I get from 3 to 9? Times 3 if you do it upstairs. And you get what? 6. And what's 18 divided by 3? 6. So you would get 6 either way, right? Your assignment that is due tomorrow starts on page 5. It's the you do section. It is the you do section on page 5. There are 10 questions. You need to do them all. There are 10 questions. You need to do them all.
You want me to just end this, or you want to leave it in case they show? What do you want?